So as the Pope visits Portugal, the White House turns its attention to the persecution of Christians around the world. Earlier this week, Vice President Mike Pence said America will prioritize protecting Christians.
I'm here on behalf of the President as a tangible sign of his commitment to defending Christians and, frankly, all who suffer for their beliefs across the wider world. I stand here today as a testament to President Trump's tangible commitment to reaffirm America's role as a beacon of hope and light and liberty to inspire the world.
Dr. Joseph Castleberry deals with the issue as president of Northwest University, which has students who overcame persecution as well. And Dr. Castleberry, I should say in full disclosure, it was an honor to speak at your university last week for the commencement. But let's move on now and talk about this thing called Christian persecution. I got to speak to some of your students. The Pope has called attention to the serious atrocities committed against Christians. Vice President Mike Pence, of course, saying America will prioritize this protection of Christians. And this morning, during his first commencement address at Liberty University, President Trump gave this assurance to the students of this popular Christian university.
As long as I am your president, no one is ever going to stop you from practicing your faith or from preaching what's in your heart.
So, Dr. Castleberry, I'm interested, in knowing what you have to say about the president and vice president as they talk about Christianity and the fact that it is under persecution.
Well, first of all, let me say thank you to Fox News, who is really doing a great job of getting these religious freedom issues into the press. A lot of other outlets aren't covering them at all, and we all appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you for that.
As for President Trump and Vice President Pence, they have gained the great gratitude of Christians all over the world in bringing these issues to the front. The issue of persecution to death of Christians around the world is a serious, serious issue. Thousands of people are dying every year due to persecution, and we really appreciate Vice President Pence, who speaks from a very devout position himself and takes these issues really to heart, and President Trump, who's made religious freedom an important issue in his presidency.
I want to drill down to how widespread the issue is, because before you became a president of a Christian university, you also served as a missionary. In that role, did you encounter or witness any of the persecutions of Christians in your travels and to the like of which we talk about today?
Well, absolutely so. I lived in El Salvador during the Civil War there and saw some pretty ugly things, not in person, but was there when some pretty ugly things happened. But even those things pale in significance to kind of things that we're seeing around the world today, both in Islamic context, which Vice President Pence certainly signaled in his speech, but also in places like India, where Hindu nationalists are persecuting Christians and killing them. Buddhist nationalists in Myanmar, you don't think of Buddhists as being persecutors, but that's what's happening. And, of course, state persecution in secular states like North Korea and others around the world. This is a serious global issue. Now, historically, could one argue that it goes both ways, that Christians have also been guilty of committing acts of persecution, and that some people today might say that's the justification for what goes on today? Well, there's no justification for persecuting anyone because of their religious beliefs, whether they are a religious believer or an atheist. People have every human right to believe what they believe and not be persecuted for it, especially if they're not committing acts of violence against other people. So there's always going to be human fallibility among the believers of any religion, but that doesn't justify being killed and having their houses of worship burned and destroyed. About 200 Christian houses of worship are destroyed around the world every month. This is just, there's no way to justify that. Yet there are those who would seem to believe that Christians deserve to be persecuted.
Next week, President Trump is taking a tour to Saudi Arabia, Jerusalem, and Italy. He is expected to promote peace, progress, and prosperity for Jewish, Muslim, and Christian faiths. And he is also expected to seek a stronger and closer relationship with the Arab world and calling for them to take a stronger stand against ISIS and radical Islam to stop terrorism and persecution of Christians. Your thoughts about this action the president is taking? Do you think it will bring about reconciliation among all faiths and perhaps a repudiation of anyone that persecutes others?
Well, every bit of attention that's given to the issues helps some. I mean, this trip won't solve all the problems, but we really do appreciate the attention that's being given to them. And the press could do a lot more to highlight some of the good news around the world that's happening on this. We just had a segment about the Pope's travel to Portugal. He went to Egypt on April 28th and 29th, had a two-day peace conference with the Grand Imam of the Al-Azhar there, and they came out with a tremendous statement in favor of human rights. And the greatest authority in Sunni Islam, the Islamic Pope, called for the respect for people to be able to change religions. That's a groundbreaking piece of news.
Dr. Joseph Castleberry, thank you for letting that be known, and we appreciate your insights on this difficult problem that the President will be dealing with as well next week. Thank you so much, sir.